Hi guys. So it's been a little bit. I am currently in my parents-in-law's house in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I'm back in the States for a little bit. Pretty much waiting out the whole pandemic situation here. Just because my husband still doesn't have a visa, a long-term stay visa for Japan just yet, so he's not allowed to go back until after the pandemic ends. Anyways, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys still aren't too bored at home. Things have been opening back up. Like as I said, I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada, so the casinos have opened up, and that was a terrible idea, and I am still not going to go outside. No one wears masks around here, and it's just really gross, and so we're just staying inside for like 99% of the time. And so I've been up to some things, so I guess I'll talk about what I've been working on towards the end. So for now, I guess I'll just hop right in into the knitting segment. As of now, I'm not sure if I'm going to put some footage of the trip back to the States. I have some clips of that, and that was like a 30-hour long trip, and it kind of just took away all my energy. I didn't knit as much as I wanted to during that time, just because I was just so tired after like half of it. Like after 15 hours, just kind of over the whole thing. So I do have a finished object, so I'll start with that. I finished this Plumpy Shawl by Andrea Mowry while I was on the plane, and I have not yet worn it out because here in Vegas it is like 109 degrees every single day, and which is about like, I want to say like 35, 34 Celsius, I want to say. So it's so hot. Not even going outside. So there's really no point in wearing this shawl. But I'm really excited to wear it when I'm back in Japan, because honestly, I love the colors. I love how it worked out. This is using all the yarn scraps that I had back in Japan while I was there. For those of you who don't know, we bought a house about a month or so ago, month and a half ago, and I just bought like not as much yarn as I thought I would need, because we originally thought we were going to stay in Japan like for a few weeks, and then we ended up staying for a few months. So this is what I had at hand since all the yarn stores were closed, and it really worked out. So I guess I'll list the yarn. So up here, this gray and orange is from Bien Aimee. It's their, I believe it's their Tough Sock. I'm not sure what the colorway is, but I got it in Paris during our honeymoon, so it's really special. And then, so that goes into this like 2-color garter stitch, and then it kind of goes into this brioche stitch. And so this dark purple is my own hand dyed from a long time ago, maybe like a few years ago, when I was just like dyeing whatever. I didn't really like check the recipe or anything. And then the rainbow part here is my my own hand spun fractal spin, my first fractal spin that I did. And the reason why I wanted to use my fractal spin was that it's just this crazy, as you can see, like all the rainbowy parts here and here are all from the fractal spin. And I personally like to wear darker, like more muted tones, but the fractal spin was really special, and I was really proud of it, and I didn't know what to make with it because I didn't really want to make socks with it, just because it was 100% merino. There was no nylon in it, and I kind of wanted it to be used for something that isn't as not hard wearing, I guess you could say, like that doesn't get used up so much. So that shawl would be good. And then I muted it with the dark purple, and I think it really worked out really well. So this is the right side, and this is the wrong side, so you could definitely see more of the fractal, how the fractal spin knitted up. So it's like these nice stripes. And then after this part, after this brioche part, there's more garter, and then it goes into this lighter purple. As you can see, it's like 2 different kinds of purple. So this like more plummier purple is also my hand dyed from a while back that I never ended up using. And then also the fractal spin goes into garter, and then this is the starting point, by the way, but this is the Bien Aimee and the fractal. So anything else? So the ending part, I kind of fudged the like, as you can see, there's like, I ran out of the fractal hand spun like at the last brioche segment. So I used it up as much as I could because I didn't want any leftover of the fractal. And so I was supposed to use up the fractal all the way to the last bit where you bind off at the end here. But that didn't happen. I ran out. So, I mean, it really doesn't change much. Like, you can't really tell that I didn't do that on purpose, I guess, just because it matches the beginning over here really well, I think. And let me just put it on really quick for you guys. So yeah, I love it. I think it's like colorful without being too crazy, for me at least. It goes well with like the darker color scheme that I like to wear, and I think it would be so cozy during the winter. So you could wear it tied around, or you could just wear it like this, and it's super cozy. So I'm really happy with this. This is my second Andrea Mowry show. My first one was with the faded, I forgot what it's called. Not what the fade. You know, the fade one that everybody made at that one time, like a few years back. So, so I have that one and I have this one. And yeah, that's my only FO really. And I also started knitting, let's see, the Udo sweater by, what's her name? I know her Instagram handle, but maybe it's different from her name. Orlane? It's Tete Patchett. It's French, so I don't know how to say it. But her name is Orlane. Does it? No. No. She has these wonderful designs that I really love. But I've never made any of her stuff. But now I'm gonna go all out because I love my Udo. That yoke is, oh, it looks so good. I'm so excited to wear it, honestly. So this is using Knitpicks palette yarn, and I am using the leftovers from my Twigs sweater by Junko Okamoto. I don't have that one with me right now. I left it in Japan, but this is with the leftover yarn because I ordered way too much, and I just kind of am really into this color palette that I chose for it. It really worked out. So this is what the yoke looks like, and right now I split for the sleeves and I am knitting the body. Couple of things that I kind of modified for this though is that the palette yarn is very thin. It's like light fingering weight, I want to say, so gauge was definitely off. I'm currently knitting, I believe, like size 7, but I'm trying to go for a size 3, I believe. So, because I want to make sure that this, I prefer like a wider, not too tight of a neck, so it is a little bit wide here, but I'm planning to maybe knit the collar a little bit longer so that I could just adjust the neck opening as needed. And so since I had such a big cast on, or I should say I ended up with a lot of, how should I say this? So because I'm knitting a larger size, the short rows, if you follow a size 7, are obviously going to take up a longer amount of space, I guess, because it's going to take more rows to knit that larger size. But because I just wanted to modify the width rather than the length, I also had to calculate how much or how many short rows I would need for my size. So that's a little different. That I had to take a little bit of math to figure out because I didn't really want it to be too long, if that makes sense, because the row gauge was fine. It's mostly just the stitch gauge that needed finagling. So yeah, it's hard to explain, but long story short, I had to figure out those short rows a little bit, but I think I did it. It looks good. Haven't tried it on or anything yet, but from what I see, it looks good. I prefer wider armholes as well, so I kept that at, I just knit that to pattern for the size 7, just so that because the stitch gauge, as I said, is going to be Mine's too small, so I need to knit more stitches to take up more space. So that's that. So currently knitting that. I'm very excited to wear this during the winter. Definitely can't wear it here in Vegas, but a girl can dream, and oh, it looks so good on camera. So yep, this is my current work in progress. The Udo. This is, I've just been knitting monogamously on this whole time. So yeah, it's the Udo. And what else? I also have a spinning work in progress. So this is one skein of my current spin. It's a 2-ply. It's like a light fingering weight, I want to say, of the gray, not the gray, the light brown is Jacob's, and the green is an unlabeled yarn that I don't remember what it is. I don't remember what it is, but it's from like a huge stash that I bulk bought, so the person didn't label it, so I'm not really sure what the green is really. So yeah, this is just one skein of it. I just finished it last night. This is hopefully going to be, I still have a bunch more, by the way. It's not just this one skein. Hopefully I'm gonna have enough for like the fingering weight weekender, I want to say. I think it'll look really good with this. It's like nice and tweedy and like rustic looking, so I think that would be perfect for this yarn. Let me show you the singles for it. So I still have more fluff for this. So this is my first like fleece to yarn kind of spin that I'm doing. So I had a full dirty fleece of this Jacob's wool, and I washed it, and I'm currently combing some, and this is the singles for it. And then this is the mystery singles. I want to say it's some kind of like goat type of fiber, maybe. This one is in roving form, and it was already dyed. So I'm just applying these together and making this. So yeah, it's not the softest thing in the world, but I think it would be a really good rustic sweater. Hopefully I have enough. I think this is about like 250 yards, and I want to say I have enough for like 4 more skeins of this, which should be enough for me because I tend to knit things cropped anyway, so I think I can make do. So I might actually just like start swatching for it and stuff, so that, I don't know, even though I'm loving knitting this, just knitting one thing all the time is a bit tiring for me sometimes, so I might just swatch this up and see how it is and how I like it with that pattern. Okay, so those are the things that I've been working on. Also, if you guys haven't seen my Instagram, what I've also been working on is a new yarn shop. So ta-da. So it's called Big Little Yarn Co. And it's just hand-dyed yarn by me. It's going to be opening on June 27th on biglittleyarn.com. I'll put like a link below. I'll show the words on the screen. You guys could check it out if it's once it's been June 27th, I guess. So let me show you guys what colorways I'm going to have. So I'm going to have 5 colorways to start off with 3 bases of each. So let me show you. So the first colorway is Lichen, and it's this really nice muted green with like pops of gold. So this is in the Superwash Merino Nylon fingering weight, so great for socks. This is it in the Superwash Merino worsted weight. And I love how like the bases change how the colors are shown, because with the nylon it's like definitely more gray versus just the merino, it's like a brownish color. And then finally I have this kid silk lace. This is lichen again. Yeah, I think this is the first colorway I've dyed, and I dyed for this shop opening, and honestly I need a sweater out of this, like with this mohair, like a fuzzy sweater would look so good. So this is lichen. I'm also, just to let you guys know, there's going to be 4 ready to ship skeins of each color and base. So 4 of these, 4 of these, 4 of these. So if there is not enough, there is also going to be pre-orders available for like a 4 to 6 week turnaround time. So you could order as many as you want. If you want a sweater quantity, you could go ahead and pre-order it and I'll get that to you. So yeah, so this is lichen. The second thing I dyed is this umeboshi. Umeboshi is a Japanese pickled plum, and it has this like, so I guess I'll go in order. This is the fingering weight merino nylon, superwash merino nylon. Has these hints of like orange and lavender. It's got some speckles in there, which is really fun. And then this is the Superwash Merino Worsted, and you could see like the oranges in there and the speckles. It's got like navy speckles. It's got some lavender. And then I love this. It's like a deeper hue when it's on the kid silk lace. It's so good. So this is umeboshi. Third one is patina. This is all 3 of them together. So this one's named after my previous business with my husband. It was called Oxford Patina. And so here's a little close up. So patina is like a term for when materials like leather get aged after use, I guess, from oxidation, and like it could happen to metals as well, like if you've seen copper and how that ages. So it's kind of celebrating that kind of oxidation process. Like sometimes there's like pinks, there's some blue speckles. So it's like a really nice neutral with like pops of color. So this is on the worsted, and the lace is so good. Some burnt orange, so a little bit of dark green, some browns. So this is patina. And then this fourth one is California Coast. So obviously celebrating my home state, California, and its coast. So I wanted to kind of show like the blue of the sea, but also celebrate like the foliage and the woodlands that are also on the coast of California. So there's like hints of brown and green. And this one I put lots of speckles in. I put lots of speckles in just because, like, the ocean. Why not? So that one was the worsted. This is the fingering. So yeah, as you can see, there's like browns and mustard. Lots of speckles. and then that hint of dark green. And this is on the Kid Silk Lace. This is lovely, very deep blue color with like hints of the brown. Is so good. So California Coast. And the very last one is a fun one, just to celebrate because I have umeboshi from my bentos, my lunch boxes as a kid, as a Japanese American kid growing up in California. I always took Japanese lunch boxes with me to school because my mom is Japanese. But also, as an American kid, I loved and I still love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which is like the American classic. And also nowadays, Japan also has that too. They always sell it at like grocery stores. But so to celebrate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I made peanut butter and jelly. So this is peanut butter and jelly on the fingering weight. It's got some nice dark purples here, some gold, some peanut butter and jelly. And so then there's sorry, interruption. So this is peanut butter and jelly, and this is so I was just showing you the fingering weight one. It's dark purples for jelly and light browns for peanut butter. A little bit of speckles in between. I don't know if you can see that. This is that in worsted. The camera's blowing it up a little bit. It's a bit darker than this, as you can see, like my face is getting all blown out. But so it's this really nice, dark and moody peanut butter and jelly. And this is it in the lace, the Kid Silk Lace. I think it'll stripe up really nicely if you guys end up using it in socks or in sweaters and things like that. But yeah, that is it, guys. That's my 5. So let me see if I could just hold it all together. So these 5 will all be available June 27th on biglittleyarn.com. So let me know if you like any of these. Let me know if you're interested. Let me know if you're looking for something in particular that I could dive for you for the next update. Yeah, hope you guys like these. And the last bit, so I have to go for lunch in a little bit, but maybe I'll just try to blast through these book updates for you guys really quick. So the last time I talked to you guys, the last thing I read was a single thread. I read 6 books since then, so not so much as I did before, so hopefully it doesn't take too long. So I was on like a horror movie kick for a while in Japan, and then I kind of moved over to horror books. So I listened to the Amityville Horror by Anson as an audiobook, and I sped through that really quick because it's just like, you know, it's a horror story. It's nothing super amazing, but I mean, it was very interesting, and I listened to it in one day because I was just listening to it constantly, and it was kind of like a movie in your head. So that was good. Gave that 4 stars. And I don't think it's too, I have to summarize it. It's like Amityville Horror. There's a house that's haunted. And then also I listened to The Shining by Stephen King on audiobook just because I've watched the movie and I kind of read about it, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the book really. Like, it's very loosely based off the book. So I listened to the book to see what it was all about, and I honestly like the book a lot more than the movie. But the movie, I could see why it's a cult classic and why it's so iconic, and I do like the movie in its own right, but it's just so different from the book that I don't really consider it to be a movie of the book. Anyways, so I gave that one 4 stars because I really did like the story. I also listened to lots of listening. I listened to The Dutch House by Ann Patchett, and I listened to this because it was narrated by Tom Hanks, and he was a really good narrator, and he was very like Tom Hanky kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, like he just has that like chipper attitude that he brings into all his movies. So then like I gave this one 4 stars. It was really good, like a family saga type of movie, not movie, a type of audiobook or book. Ann Patchett has like a really great writing style where she writes lyrically about things that just seem so simple until you kind of think about it, and she's just a really great writer overall. I really like Bel Canto is another book I really like by her, and I'm really a big fan, so that was great. I gave that one 4 stars. I also listened to Woman on the Edge of Time by Marge Piercy, and this is kind of a bit like a sci-fi fantasy type of novel, and I listened to this while I was like walking around at night, social distancing, but also I needed to walk outside for a little bit, so I did that. Okay. It's been like 3 hours, sorry, took a break. Had a long lunch, but what was I think I was talking about my books. Shoot, my phone. Hold on. Okay, I think I was talking about Woman on the Edge of Time. So sci-fi fantasy novel. I really liked it. I didn't really mean for this to happen, but it turned out to be pretty a pretty timely read, I want to say, especially for the whole Black Lives Matter movement and like how white supremacy is such a deeply ingrained thing in all of the systems that we live in today. And so it's kind of like that, but also with sci-fi and fantasy. So if you guys are interested in that, I definitely recommend it. I gave that one 4 stars. And then I listened to The Silent Patient by Alix Michaelides. I have no idea how to say their last name. But this is a crime thriller novel. Listened to this on audiobook while I was dyeing my yarn. This one was pretty interesting. It's about a girl there's a narrator who is a psychiatrist or a psychological therapist who narrates, and also skips to a diary entries of the woman that he is treating. So there's like 2 different points of view, and the woman that he's treating in the present time has been accused of murdering her husband, but is currently held in a psychiatric hospital because she was charged guilty due to insanity. So a little bit about that. I tried to figure out, so you know that she killed her husband, so you know who the perpetrator is, but you just don't know how or why, and I found that very intriguing, and I tried to guess, could not get it, and by the end of the book, I totally got it wrong. So if you guys are interested in that kind of like suspense, little thriller, recommend that. Gave that one 4 stars. And then the last thing I read in physical form this time, so this was like my chill out reading time kind of book was the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. And I know this book has been pretty big, not lately, maybe like about a year or so ago. I just never really got to it because I'm not really interested in romance novels, but decided to give this one a go because I do really like novels written in either diary form or like in letter form. So this book is entirely set up with letters that the characters write to each other, and that's how you kind of figure out the story. And I found that really, like, I don't know, it was a very cozy read and made it into a very cozy, like, curl up with a cup of coffee or tea kind of novel. And it was just like a good like heartfelt, feel good kind of novel with romance, historical fiction. So this is post World War II in Guernsey. And if you heard of like Guernsey sweaters and stuff, that's where those sweaters are from. And they don't ever really talk about the sweaters in here or anything, but it is kind of interesting to hear about the history behind Guernsey and how they were occupied during World War II by Germany, and how it's a little different, how their history of World War II is a little different from their mainland British history that you hear about, at least that I've heard about living here in the US when I learned about World War II. So I thought that was really interesting. There's some friendship, there's some quirky characters. The main character, she's really funny and strong, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Gave it 5 stars because I probably would be down to read it again maybe in like a couple years. So that's all my 5 stars are things that I would read again. So yeah, those have been my reads. Currently listening to an audiobook right now that I'm like, I think like about, I want to say about 80% done with. It's called The 10,000 Doors of January by Alix E. Harrow, and it's a fantasy novel. I'm not sure if it's a standalone or if it's part of a series, but I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of diversity in the book, and there's also like, I also feel like it's very timely because it also like incorporates how the main character faces racism and prejudice during like the, I think I want to say it's like the early 1900s time, and how she navigates through that, and like how she stays strong. And then, but not only that, but the plot's really interesting. So in this world, it's like our world, but also there's these hidden doors or these doorways that are like thin veils in between worlds, and if you open it, you could enter into this different world, and there's all this stuff that happens. It's really interesting. I really like the characters in it. I like the world. I'm 80% through it. I'm probably, as of now, gonna give it 4 stars, and I'm hoping it's not a standalone because I would really like to follow this character along some more books. So we shall see. Yeah, that has been my knitting and reading life. So thank you guys for hanging out with me again. Sorry that there was this weird pause in the middle, but again, on the 26th, there is going to be my shop opening, and also after the 26th, there will be pre-orders available if you guys weren't able to snag any of the ready-to-ship schemes that I have. There are pre-orders that you can order from. You could always email me to ask me any questions. Yeah, thank you guys. So Just want to show this off again. There's gonna be umeboshi and oops, this is not it. This, nope. There you go. Patina. Lichen. Peanut butter and jelly. Ooh. And California Coast. So these are the 5 I'm going to start with. If there's enough demand, I would love to make tonal pairs for these guys. All of these colorways. I think a tonal pair with this would make so many good sweaters, especially if you combine it with the kid silk lace versions of it. Oh, it would look so good. So yeah, thank you guys for sticking around, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Let me know if you guys been what you guys have been up to, what you've been knitting, what you've been reading. If you have any Switch games that you guys like to play other than Animal Crossing, because I know everybody loves Animal Crossing already. So anything else, I have gotten a hold of a Switch. They're out of sale, or not out of sale, out of stock right now, like everywhere. So I'm currently using my brother-in-law's partner's Switch, and I've been playing Pokemon Sword and Moonlighter on those, and have been obsessed. So if you guys have any game recommendations, that is also welcome. But yeah, hope you all have been doing well. Stay safe. Wear a mask when you go outside, please. And let's hang out later. Bye.